Yo, what is good, everyone? Happy Friday to you. It's Feedback Friday, everybody's favorite day. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you've been able to stay inspired throughout the week. Make something good for us to listen to today. I have not swapped out the free sound pack for subscribers this week. So if you are currently subscribed, go grab the sound pack. We will swap it out either later today or at the top of next week when I have time to do that. Currently, it's a bunch of dialogue samples waiting for you over there, cult classic film style, 295 of them. And I don't know what it's going to be in the next pack. Not quite sure yet, but I'll let you guys know. Might be some ARPs. Might not. What else? Okay, there is a lack of VODs on Twitch, and that is because VODs have moved over to YouTube. Uncle Jeff Bezos does not want to foot the bill for video hosting, so let me just go and grab a link here. You guys can catch all the VODs going back several years. You can watch thousands of hours. You can watch reruns of critiques of your music on Feedback Fridays. You can see how all those popular sounds and songs were made from scratch. Anyway, also putting up some music stuff there. Feel free to copy what I'm doing. We talk a lot about how to, do the thing, survive, succeed, make money, make your stuff better, all that stuff. You can watch how I'm putting together the channel and how it grows, and you can follow suit if you like, and ask questions along the way. There is a good reason to subscribe over there. What else? I think that's it. Shall we listen? Yeah, I'm out of announcements and things to say. So I say we just turn off the background noise here and listen. Hey, Zendremic. Who is here, by the way? Who's here? Saffron's here. Thank you so much for the sub, Saf. Appreciate you. What does that say? 57 months? That's a huge streak, dude. That's a huge streak. That's like, that's a long time. It's a long streak. Stephen Acosta's here. Hola. How you doing, homie? Speak Melon's here. Proxima Music's here. Getting a track signed over there. Zev Music is here. How you doing, Will? Josh, dude. American Josh, dude. That is here. Welcome in, dude. Prox saying, actually, there's a question up here from Prox. You guys can all weigh in, chat. I'm having to join ASCAP because the local label wants to sign my track. Should I sign up as a writer or a writer plus publisher? I release independent most of the time. Yeah, you can do that. You can do the double. The writer publisher. I've recently learned that you can actually copyright collections of works rather than having to go through and do like individual tracks if you're releasing stuff individually. Of course, you can copyright albums. But there are some ways to whittle down that work, apparently. Rock's also saying, I just got some really nice high-end studio monitors from the early 2000s, secondhand, and they're amazingly flat. I also have realized how much flat sounds are not fun. Speaker character is so important. Oh man, it's pretty interesting, right? It's good to know exactly what your stuff is sounding like, but also it's good to be inspired by what you're making, right? If you're inspired to make the stuff and the stuff coming right at your face out the speakers is just not inspiring, there's a problem there, you know? There's a problem there. So Dremic, how you doing today? Shall we listen? Yeah, let's listen. I'm going to turn off this background noise from me and go over here and hit play on you. Hey, Stephen Acosta first in line today. Go grab a notepad. Da, 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 da. I'm going to move the notepad over to the other screen, so you're not going to see me type as we listen, but you're going to get to watch something new from Stephen Acosta, which is so much better than paying attention to me trying to type. So away we go. And happy Friday, everyone. Let's do this. Oh, wait a minute. That's super quiet. Let me back this all the way up. Away we go.
Different paths on the different tracks, like a train station. Blank faces, always staring back. Expressions stay vacant. Ain't no destinations. Get my ticket back for reparation. Desolation, up in my surroundings when I'm on location.
What's location? All the stops are all the same, it's replication. Invitation from sedation, sign in blood is her temptation. Address from Satan, said he'd make it rain on me, precipitation. Rain nation, think the fucker's lying to me. Man, I hate him. Information given to me, rather have no conversation. Translation, cerebellum, trained them for the laceration. Split myself with complications, something for the information. Which location of the paranoia can be masqueraded?
Don't you also hate him? Man, I fucking hate him. Don't you also hate him? Man, I fucking hate him. Different paths on the different tracks, like a train station. Blank faces, always staring back. Expressions stay vacant. Ain't no destinations. Get my ticket back for reparation. Desolation, up in my surroundings when I'm on location. Yeah. Misinformation, fake friends, spreading rumors, smoking mirrors. I took off the rose lenses, now I think I'm seeing clear. Crystal ball, viewing in the future, still don't know the year. Flag me down like incompletion, but the defense interfere. Once you interfere, I can tell you mom. Plugging in my hours, selling all my time. Every damn direction, hating love, yeah. Still be tripping, that's when I cramp my spine. HPPD, it's all on me. Fucked up PD like Solomon. Firing them up in the ass, some collagen up in my hair, ain't no flying. Different paths on the different tracks, like a train station. Blank faces, always staring back. Expressions stay vacant. Ain't no destinations. Get my ticket back for reparations. Desolation, up in my surroundings when I'm on location.
Man, there's so many great things about this. The wingdings, the wreath work frame there at the end, the heartfelt piano as they walk off into the distance on the bridge. What will happen next? Excellent chapter one. Stephen Acosta, you're absolutely brilliant. You're absolutely brilliant. I'm going to read whatever you wrote here because I saw you write something when we started this. Stephen's saying, welcome to chapter one. This is chapter one, episode one, train station with my good friend Pitch. Yeah. There is big charm to this, Prox. Saf is saying this hip hop track is actually really interesting. Yeah, very passionate. Dude, so the tongue clucks are super awesome. It's a wild mix in this one. Wild. And I like the collab. I'm wanting just a little bit more in the mids on this one. Just a little bit more for the vocals and keys. Just like maybe a smidge more guitar in spots, but mostly just the vocals and the keys. And also the noisy stuff on the sides when the backing vocals are present, that can come down just a little bit so it doesn't compete with the backing vocals. And then that'll really support well. That'll translate really well. Super awesome vibe. Super awesome vibe. Hameda says, hey, that was really sweet. And Zimdremic says, 4 gummies for the effort. Prox says, I need to clean this track up before sending to my guy as a final check. Mixdown is pretty rough. I'm just wrapping up arrangement after cutting an entire breakdown. Let me know what you think would be good focus areas for mixdown. I need to hit between neg 4 dB, neg 6 dB with no processing on the master. Yeah. You bet, Steven. Dude, that was a wickedly awesome track. I'm so excited. Every single time I see you put something in the queue, I'm like, yes. Yes. All right, Prox, you ready? This one's called Parody. Look at this face. It's a weird face. Prox saying y'all have heard early versions of this. Okay, cool. Prox, I love this. I'm glad that it's getting picked up by someone and that it's going to get pushed. It'll mean more people will know about you and what you're doing. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I love this. I love this. Pitch percussion is an underrated tool. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Hameda saying Phil Collins would lose his head to this track. Yeah, flexitone time. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, it makes me want to go play with my mod bits pack just a little bit. All these tiny little tonal percussive sounds jammed together in a small space. Great. Freaking love this stuff. It feels like kalimba. You know what I mean? Yeah. Centropic says, you've been upgraded to 5 gummies. Okay, so at 140, I feel like in this section there's room for a couple of swells, just some sort of like swelling energy. It doesn't have to be bringing in a pad or some musical instrument that is not a perk, because I do like this all perk theme that you've got going here. So you could swell up some delay feedback, or you could put one of the elements into like through a guitar rig ramp or something like that, right? And just kind of like let it build and swell, maybe get a little ring in there and then back off or something like that. But just a little bit of something swelling energy wise for the emotions, for the feels. 330, I think here you could play with some randomized panning modulation, really capture our attention. And you could do like maybe 2 or 3 elements out of the entire mix. And on those, they each get their own independent random LFO and varied depth and range of pan position for those guys. So it's not all of the stuff getting wild and out of control. It's tastefully done. Just here and there, just tiny little things move a little bit. I love all the brrr. It's great. 515, I feel like these high energy peak moments where everything's really popping and you can't help but bop. There could be just a little bit more variation in velocity and volume, just nuance bits, right? So maybe like 15% depth or something like that. If you were to do this like through some sort of automated process in your piano roll. Obviously, we're talking like super nitty gritty nuance stuff here at this point. This is super, super infectious. So good. So good. Move your flow. Welcome in. Highly recommended random. Yeah, zoosh it up to sustain the energy. Yeah. Not quite ear candy, just a bump of modulation. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Not adding any new elements to the track, just treating the elements that you do have just slightly differently in a couple of nuanced ways, in a couple of spots. I think the rest of this thing is just so good. And the only reason I even bring up those little nuanced things is because there is this feeling, this sense of constant movement and motion. And there's only a couple of spots in the whole track where things go kind of unchanged for a very short period of time, right? So if in those moments there still is something, but you kind of have to find it, like a little Where's Waldo, right? It's good. It's good. Prox is asking, so do I do like a 1.5 dB bump or modulation? I would do modulation. It's always more effective to take away than it is to add. If you add something, something else is going to change or be affected or be intruded upon or something. But if you take away something, Bob's your uncle. Butter. Hope that helps. Can we know who is picking up the track? Or will that be revealed later? Zev. What did you bring, Will? You said something ambient, huh? Novum? Is it Novum? Oh, yes, it says April 27th, Novum Express here. Yes. Okay. Hey, how was your trip? I'm going to hit play over here. Making some ambient tracks for a 3-hour set. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Excellent, Prox. Excellent. I hear you loud and clear. Very relaxing. Good to hear it. Good to hear it. All right, let's hit play on you. Listen to what you've made over there. Man, I love Novum. I can't help but make tracks with it too. Every single time I sit down with it, I'm just like, well, now I'm going to finish this thing that I just started. It's just nonstop. It's absolutely nonstop. All right, inspiration in a box. Yeah. Yeah, Zev. I love this. Wanting to make a whole slew of ambient tracks. I've been working on a bunch of ambient stuff as well. Yo! Roku's here. Wait. Martin. Oh, no, it's because we listened to it 2 days ago. We have a thing going where he comes in on Wednesdays because he can't be here on Fridays, so I listen to it on Wednesdays with him. Yeah. How are you, by the way? We've missed you. This one is Zev. Let's chill out for a minute. Hmm. Hamada's saying, man, I wish I could make things like this. Yay, Novum. I love this, Sev. And I like the concept, too, of mixing in ambient content like this in the sets. I think it'd be super great. Super great. It's like, it's immersive, it's inviting, it's disarming. Um, it's great. It's great. It's a little kumbaya for the crowd, right? 100%. On ambient tracks with cool little rhythmic elements that mesh well with other tracks. Building call and responses. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Roku saying reminds me a bit of Moby's ambient work. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, it's all like quite tasteful and in the pocket, and I can absolutely imagine uh, like a variety of these things. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I can also hear something else kind of developing in my head here. I can hear like some like if you were to take some melodic stuff, um, just like some ambient line stuff, and then some textural stuff, like noise based filter modulation based stuff, um, and resample those together in unison. Um, if you had a couple of tracks like that you could like pit against these ambient tracks and these other tracks, I could see them as like really cool little transition layer elements. Yeah, man, I can see how transformative this whole thing could be for your sets. It's a dope new direction. I like it. I like it. I dig it. Oh, Prox is asking for help. If anyone in chat has a Pixel 7a, can you look at the back of it and tell me if the back panel is kind of curved? I can't tell if I have a bulging battery or if there's just a standard curve. Uh-oh. Oh no. Moby referenced. Yes. Um, this is for the intro, create an immersive thing. Hameda says, do you do audiobooks? Because if not, food for thought. No, but I have done a lot of voiceover work, and I read to my kid for like a couple hours a day, probably. So, in fact, I'm feeling just like a little, like slightly hoarse today because I read a whole bunch of extra yesterday. Oh, hey, look at that. Prox says, I forgot to mention, I'm doing a PDX Mod Bank show on the 30th. That's rad. That's awesome. Horse. Syndremic. Horse. Zev, I don't really have anything picky for you on this. I just want you to know that I love the theme and I want to hear more. I want to hear more of these ideas. And I'm glad that you're feeling inspired by Novum. I think it's just an absolute beast. I checked out Love on the stream a couple of days ago. And it's pretty cool. It's like it's a breakout multi effects plugin. So it's basically the effects rack inside of Novum, and then there's a bit of the granular engine in there as well. So it's kind of an interesting thing, using it as an effects processor on all of your own stuff, right? Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff. All right. NDMA, Josh, dude, let's do it. I enable thee. All right. Kronos, Emerson South. All I see. Oh, wait. before we do that, Prox is saying, how do I feel about pigments? Here's how I feel about pigments. The last round of updates that it got made me like it so much more. And I love the sonic output that you can get from it. And I like the upgrades and updates to the effects and filters that happened. I still do not feel comfortable with the layout and workflow. I still don't feel it is something that really jives with the way that I work. So it doesn't have a really streamlined flow. So there's a lot of like back and forth to it, in and out of different windows. So yeah, for the sound quality, I dig it. But for the usability, we got issues. But I'll tell you what, if I had the entire Arturia collection, I guarantee you I would be using pigments a lot more, because I would be more down the rabbit hole of their whole UI UX design experience. So for what it's worth. $300 though. Yeah, the workflow sucks. Yeah. Yeah, Prox is saying I could put up with the shitty workflow if the synth is that good, like Surge XT, for example, but the synth is not that good. It can do some really amazing things. It can do some really, really amazing things. I do use it. I just don't use it what I think is enough. I would use it more if the workflow was better, because it deserves to be used more. So that's where I am with it. All right, let's do this.
I feel better than I felt in the last 30 years.
You're feeling
older,
great.
It gets tougher.
That's fantastic. All right, let's skip you.
No regrets, never sweats on his own life. He never bets in front of his eyes. Another man dies, but all he thinks about is how to bury him alive. It's all I see, hypocrisy, atrocities of democracy. Yeah, yeah. Don't align with the side, we can all fight the tide from the tidal wave of truth. There's no place to hide. He tells you not to worry, it's all going well. Well, I wonder if the story changes when he's burning in hell. It's all I see, hypocrisy, atrocity of democracy. And all I see, hypocrisy, atrocity of humanity.
with the side, we can all fit the tide from the tidal wave of truth. There's no place to hide. Don't align with the side, we can all fit the tide from the tidal wave of truth. There's no place to hide. Line with the side, we can all fit the tide from the tidal wave of truth. There's no place to hide. Line with the side, we can all fit the tide from the tidal wave of truth. There's no place to hide. Line with the side, we can all fight the tide from the tidal wave of truth. There's no place to hide. Don't align with the side, we can all fight the tide from the tidal wave of truth. There's no place to hide. All I see, hypocrisy, atrocity, democracy. And all I see, hypocrisy, atrocity of humanity, of humanity, of humanity,
Yeah. Y'all had some fun making this one. You guys sound really great together. This is a jam. And you guys have like a real live vibe. I want saturation involved in this. It feels like the energy of that live energy is coming through in the way in which you are performing and delivering this music. But I want to feel the way that I feel when I'm hearing it in a live room. So I want to feel like that amped, charged energy. And I think if you were to put a nice dose of saturation on the different elements in this mix, you'd be amazed at just how much like liveliness and surface texture and reflectivity and just general fullness and I guess luster that can be unlocked. And it's all stuff that can't really be done with an EQ, right? If you pull up a band a little bit in an EQ, you're simply increasing the volume of the sounds exactly as they are, right? So you're just kind of calling attention to stuff as it is or masking stuff as it is, or attenuating it anyway. So but with saturation, you're actually adding harmonics. So you're actually bringing about new stuff. And the nice thing about adding just a little bit of tasteful saturation to all of these different elements is that when those things start to commingle in the mix now together, you start to get that kind of live, full impact energy. So I would personally love to feel that in this mix. Mix-wise, otherwise, this all feels pretty good. This would just help push things forward and make them feel a little bit more sturdy and upright, a bit more in your face, I guess, if you will. And you would hear a lot more of like what we're all tuning into with the drums. There's just a lot of really clever work going on there. A lot of good ghost movements in there. And it'd be great to hear just a little bit more of those. All of these would be a nuanced addition, right? The vocal work is great in this as well. Nice change-ups. Great track. It's good stuff. Prox is asking, hey, have you ever watched any Dan Worrell's vids on mixing? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Speaking of, you guys will see a bunch from me coming out that are kind of like that, but not on the YouTube channel. Dun, dun, dun. Josh, you are welcome. Hope it vibes with you. Hameda. All right, Hameda saying, new to mixing, only been doing production for 4-ish years. This is just a demo that's going to be passed out on to the band for live shows, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Come Home. That's what this one's called. Let's hear it. It was a good one, Josh.
Come on home, you're looking cold. You've had the world on your shoulder. Lay on down just for a while. Put away your You stood your ground, but you offer love. We got plans we will fulfill. In our grandeur, it may be overkill. We've been apart when times are hard. We pushed the boulder over the hill. When the waves come down, you always swam back up. You stood your ground, but you offer love. If we sink to the deep, you're the oxygen I keep. You're the concrete that keeps me complete, with threads that weave our future tapestry. If we believe we're a self-fulfilling prophecy, sink to the deep, you're the oxygen I keep. You're the concrete that keeps me complete, with threads that weave our future tapestry. If we believe we're a self-fulfilling prophecy, if we sink to the deep, you're the oxygen I keep. You're the concrete that keeps me complete, with threads that weave our future tapestry. If we believe we're a self-fulfilling prophecy. When the waves come down, you always swim back up. You stood your ground, but you offer love. When the waves come down, you help me swim back up. You're my solid ground. You have my love.
Yeah, this is really lovely. I'd like to hear that last piano note ring out just a little bit more, and have maybe just a couple more seconds at the end of that track. So whatever's coming next in the playlist doesn't hit me in the face right away, because I need just a moment of decompression between that moment and whatever comes next, I think. This is just beautiful. It sounds really nice. I think it's a good mix. By today's standards, you can still bring it up in loudness. I'm going to guess it's around neg 20, neg 22, something like that on average. And you can aim for greater loudness. I would aim for neg 16 is kind of in that broadcast streaming realm. Neg 14 would be just a little bit louder, and it would be a little bit more upfront. But this is something you wouldn't want to push past that for sure. Don't aim for it being loud, but you can bring a bit more fullness to this with some loudness. Love the harmony work. I think the snare might accept just a little bit more reverb and feel right. Excellent. I'm glad it vibes with you. This is really good work. This is really, really good work. And mixing for 4 years. Yeah. There's a lot of attention to detail that you can hear in this, and not a lot of room for adjustments, really. Aqua, it is you. Happy Friday. Move your flow. Okay. Rip Threezo and Pops. Or maybe it's RIP. All right, let's roll. Happy Friday.
Aqua this year. Look, I don't smoke, but like to smoke up on the ops. Use a dead man because he wanna be an opera. Rest in peace into the real ones. I got these fake bitches on my phone because my income. I got a small circle, but they the real ones. I can't believe my pops died for standing on his weight. Pray to God, cause I'm just here today. Wait, hold on, bitch. Yeah, nigga. G-Blood. Yeah, my brother died, you better stand on 10, nigga. I'm a doggy spank, nigga. You better pray today, nigga, cause we on go. Run up on a nigga, fully switch you on the flow. Robbing niggas, nigga, I'm the captain saying go. I don't talk too much, little nigga, let this Glock talk. Yeah, throwing up the beats, but I got C's who do the quick walk. The way I beat the nigga up, because he talk about my pops. I ain't making it to heaven, don't need pep talks. Just cause you G's don't mean you EPK, you not my twin. Think you with your dick, but not your head, niggas robbing shit. I got some fine shorties getting paid because they dropping shit. And why you fucking with his girl, you know I hit that shit. Black mask, fully switched, cause we got the drug. How you gonna gang bang, but you talk to the ops? Posting all the life you spinning, yeah, you better not. I want the ops to feel all this pain, I ain't gonna take it. Yeah, the biggest G up in my city feel like J-Bo. And when I say you spin, you better do it because I say so. Yeah. And when I spin him through your block, you better lay low. His brother had bad news about his brother, he ain't making home. Yeah, you was talking on the net, so we gon' get the Glocks. You say you dying for your game, then talk about my pops. But if you wanna live, nigga, yeah, you better not. Last nigga, talk about my pops. My brother tell you better stand on 10, nigga. I'm a doggy spank, nigga. You better pray today, nigga, cause we on go. Run up on a nigga, fully switch you on the flow. Robbing niggas, nigga, I'm the captain saying go.
Aqua, this is pretty solid. I watched the distortion on the subs below a certain range. Make sure that the sub is clean from like 80 hertz or so down on this one. You'll still get all the fuzz and the rattle that you're looking for, but the rest of your mix will stay clean. The other thing is that there's a pretty big difference between the peak loudness when that bass is really hitting and when it's not. I think there needs to be just a little bit of adjustment there. I think that it feels a little bit withheld, almost even muffled just a little bit at that lower volume. So I'd push it forward just a little bit, and then I'd bring that bass down just a little bit, just so they're a little bit more equal, and then shave the distortion off of the lowest frequencies and keep the true sub frequencies pure and clean. And then that way you'll feel the impact every single time that note is triggered. You'll still also feel all the fuzz and the rattle. And each time it does hit, it's not going to affect the rest of the mix. It's just going to affect itself. So that's it. That's what I got for you. Everything else sounds pretty good in this one. Prox. Roku sounded like Yoda over there. Prox says, set and forget. Let's listen to this. All right. I love the timbres throughout this one. I like the mix of like the classic and unexpected deviations. It's just quite lovely. Volume leveling definitely kind of needed throughout. Some transition support at 214 would feel nice. Not sure exactly what I'm thinking there, but like a little reversal might feel good. Something that takes like a good few seconds to get through. Completely. 243, nice one. Would be cool to hear another riser layered in there, maybe like a 16 bar. It could be really, really subtle and with like a really kind of like slow creep wind up. Really subtle till the final stretch and then just like a whoosh all the way up. This guy coming back at 310. This feeling of like the perks kind of crashing down in on you before the outro is pretty cool. In general, I want to feel more like velocity and impact from the kick, and maybe even a little bit of play with some verb or delay on it to get the that kind of slapback atmos going just a little bit in a couple of spots. Not something that needs to be like super persistent, but I feel like if we had greater force and velocity coming off the kick, that would feel nice in a couple of spots. Flourish, the transition. Yes, I like that. Flourish. 4 gummies for surprise sudden ending. Have some weight to throw around with the low end. Yeah, exactly. Once you have it there, you can wield it, right? Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Vampire. It is you. Vampire 2. There we go. Supernova. And look at this art, by the way. This is some great art. It's nice. It looks like... was this done by hand? In the age of AI magical conjuring, you never really know. But I do like it has like a... It feels like it has like a handmade touch. Yes, it is. Excellent. Phase 0, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're well over there. Hope you are well. AI enhanced. I see. All right, here we go. Supernova. Oh, donuts. You brought donuts? Freaking love donuts. Thank you.
Life's better when you're under our roof.
Oh.
Save up to 23% by bundling your home and auto with us.
Thank you. All right, here we go.
She has the power to be anything that she wants to. She has all the potential, yes, it's true. She will shake up this planet with her debut. So look at world, she's conquering you. She's supernova, faster than the speed of light. She's supernova.
All right, this whole track is great, and it feels right. The vocals are great. Compression. There's a couple things happening here. Part of the reason why the vocals are sitting so well up on top is because it's not competing with all of the peaks of the supporting track. But then also we have lost some of the brilliance and peaks of that music. So back in the vocals, that is. So if we back off some of that compression, the downward effect of taking the peaks off of rock music, leave it feeling just a little bit decapitated in a way, right? As if someone's taken like the shine off of it or something like that. So there's some benefits to that, right? With the vocals being so easy to stay on top. The downside is that it doesn't feel like you're getting the full potential. And when you're dealing with these like power chords and these really strong vocals, you want to feel like it's being backed with full power. So you could turn to some saturation. You could also look at some upward compression instead of some downward compression. There's a couple of different like nuanced mixing things you could explore here to help unlock that energy and kind of keep things up. So I would turn to that area there and try and work on that personally. I think the whole track is great though. Roku says, come by more often. Chris teaches mixing and sound design. Less is more. Yeah, less is more. Syndromic says, see if you can shave off a couple dB in the vocal high end or ease up on vocal compression. Not sure if that's compression or if the voice breaking during performance. I actually like where the vocals are for the most part. This feels very kind of 90s to me, and the way that it's all approached. It all feels right except for the peaks, honestly. But I like leaning into the raw imperfections when you've got this much emotion involved in rock. So a little screamy at the top. Yeah, it might be. I'd love to hear this. Like if you just did a second pass, like a full second mix on this thing. I encourage that sometimes. Just like, you know what? Duplicate the project, save it, duplicate it, take off everything that you've done on all those tracks, bring the volume down to 0 on all of them, and start bringing them up track by track by track. Start from scratch, right? And you don't have to listen to anyone else, right? But my interest in this would be, how different is it than the first time through? It seems to me that all of your mixing decisions would probably be right around the same, except for maybe the compression now after talking about this, right? I don't feel like anything is really out of its lane. I do think that the vocals do feel a little bit pushed, maybe. But again, I feel like it's fairly in line with the ethos of the track, so. Roku says, as a teaching moment, ask why you compress. If you can figure that out, then you know when to use it. If you don't know the answer, then don't compress. Yeah, it's a really good piece of advice. And really, if you stop and think about like where and when you're using compression, there's two times. Well, two reasons normally to reach for compression, right? One is because you've got some peaks. They're louder, they're out of control, they're errant, whatever. Bringing the fader down isn't doing it, right? You need to bring some of those peaks down. The other thing is you want to bring lesser heard elements up to the surface, right? So one is, well, I guess there's three, because you can also use it more as an effect, because those two are using it much more as like a utility, right? So you're Johnny on the spot controlling peaks for loudness control, gain leveling, right? And then the other is surface texture, noise floor, presence, right? And then you can also use it in like really extreme ways, right? Really extreme compression can be used in parallel compression, for instance, like New York style compression. But Roku's right. If you understand what you're trying to accomplish before you even turn on the tool, you'll find yourself only using a compressor maybe a few or a couple of times in your whole track. It's really not uncommon to, like, once you start asking yourself, why am I putting this on right now? Now, an EQ, on the other hand, you can put an EQ on everything. Just don't overdo it. But an EQ on everything in your project means that you are aware of what each one of those things sounds like and what wasn't needed, right? Because you can carve away what you need to carve away to make room for everything else in your project with your EQ. Use your compression to manage peaks, not loudness. That's a good rule of thumb. Yeah. Vampire saying probably very different because I just started parallel compressing, so I wouldn't push the bass so much. Yeah. Yeah, Zin saying, I don't sing, but I understand that when tilting one's head up while singing, the vocal cords get squeezed and sometimes feel screamy or shrill. If that's the effect we're going for, great. You've reached Valhalla, so ignore my side notes. Yeah, it is pretty interesting exactly what you can do with just tiny little manipulations, right? Vicky, welcome in. Happy Friday, dude. Hamada. It is you. All right, Hamada back saying, this is a collaboration for concept album that me and another streamer are writing together. Still work in progress. Here we go. The Confrontation.
You've tried everything. How many coping mechanisms fail to take wing? Build your house of cards from what you've been dealt. All spires and empires are only built for wealth. Other side. How many times can this little angel tell a lie? Wait, if I might interject. No, actually, you know what? I'm not done talking just yet.
Okay, I see all manners are out the window. Fine.
You cover bandages with what's already been infected.
What?
And you're telling this poor soul to take your words and simply swallow it.
No,
I'm here to reassess expectation.
Okay.
And you're only here to give elation.
This world is not all soulless drivel. Why can't we all just be civil?
Really?
Salt, glitter, and smoke break the conveyor perversion of hope. Sandcastles break under pressure of waves. How can you be the arbiter of change? Don't let them dictate what you deserve. Don't consume what they feed to the herd. Take the blame from the butterfly effect. These scene changes aren't really in effect yet. Let's change the subject.
You are only here to maintain the status quo. You're doing them a disservice by feigning an artificial glow. And guess what, Angel? It ain't all sunshine and rainbows. Have you punched down and you advise from the sidelines how to soften the blows?
Divinity, cosmic clarity brings humans synchronicity. Life is a garden, you reap what you sow. You put nothing in the engine, but still expect it to go. You can't go through life defeated. You've seen your demons, now go and meet them.
It's all glitter and smoke. Take pride in the cock that you broke. Built to follow, not born to serve. Don't let them take from you what you deserve. Life save a billion show. Angels clapping, devils in tow. Don't be deceived by the web that we weave. We only want best for all humanity. It's all glitter and smoke. Take pride in the cock that you broke. Built to follow, not born to serve. Don't let them take from you what you deserve. Life save a billion show. Angels clapping, devils in tow. Don't be deceived by the web that we weave. We only want best for all humanity. It's all glitter and smoke. Take pride in the cock that you broke. Built to follow, not born to serve. Don't let them take from you what you deserve. It's all glitter and smoke. Take pride in the cock that you broke. Built to follow, not born to serve. Don't let them take from you what you deserve.
Okay, so I think your performance in this, your arrangement, the composition is all really, really great. Now is time for mixing. There's a bunch of stuff here, volume-wise, that I would probably tackle first. So here's what I would do. I would go through every single track, and I would listen to it soloed and in context and make sure that my EQ is tight on all of them, because you've got a lot of different moving parts in this. And whenever you've got a lot of different moving parts, I just want to make sure that you've got awareness and control over all of the frequencies in your project. So eliminating whatever frequencies you can, down low, up high, before you even really start mixing anything else is it's just going to help you hear everything. So as you go through and you're setting your kind of baseline volume levels, remind yourself that this is just a baseline volume level, and this is going to go up and down as this track is played, but it's going to be done through automation, right? So you're just finding your initial kind of resting points, right? And keeping in mind that they're not static. They're just your initial resting points, basically. And then the other thing I would say is when it comes time to start making volume changes in context, like in the whole mix, make those changes shapely, curvy, like kind of voluptuous and skinny and unexpected, right? So like if something currently has a linear increase of like 5 dB in your automation lane, give that thing a curve, right? Make it more dramatic, right? Make it hang out down here for a bit and then surge up at the end, right? So there's much more of this kind of emotional or expressive delivery. And every single tiny little nuance change that you make like that kind of starts to stack up over time. And then it all kind of reinforces what you're putting in, right? As a larger project or as a larger product at the end of the day. It all feels so much bigger than all these little changes you're making. Okay, at 53 seconds, I think that vocal can come up just a little bit. The backing instruments and the entire track, I think, can come down. The vocals just need to stay up on top no matter what. So the first thing I would do is just bring those instruments down and mix them with a more kind of supportive mindset and reserve those larger peaks for your emotional crescendos, right? These are the moments that you're going to get to that point. Everything else is below that. So you may only have Like in a track like this was pretty sweeping and awesome and epic. There might be like 5 in the whole track, right? And let's just see here. We've got 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, so maybe what we do is we make some of these valley floors a little bit lower and some of these peaks a little bit higher. Well, not higher, they stay where they are, but they feel higher. Like you have to travel a greater distance to go from these bottom bits to these top bits here. So greater dynamic range. I'm not sure about this big reverb that you've got on the kick at the level that you've got it. I think it can be pretty small. I think that the big that you're going for is it's a perception thing more than it is actually a space thing, especially on the kick. I love the call and response between the vocalists in here. I think you guys make a really great pair. So consider the vocals the main priority and make everything else in the entire project supportive. That's what I would do. Dial back the low end presence and then use that sparingly the same way that you use your greatest peaks, right? So you're increasing your low end when things swell emotionally or when something pivotal is happening in the mix. And then that way it's really felt and it stands out. When you start using it a little bit too much, it feels like there's almost too much in the project at one time. And I think you can also wrangle the low end just a little bit more in that right now it feels pretty thick and rangy, and you could probably shape that a little bit tighter and take out some of those lower frequencies with a shelf. Not a cut, but a shelf. At 330, some volume leveling I think is necessary. You kind of hear this big jump between these sections here. So being aware of that. Just all in all, this is super epic. Super epic. I found it to be really sweeping and engaging and interesting. I really like it. I like the outro concept as well. Keep bringing more by. It's Zelo Kill says, what I noticed is that the instrumental could have much more impact, but in the parts that was meant to have impact and attack, it sounded muddy enough to have the sense of impact, not to have the sense of impact anymore. Yeah, and that is the low end. That's the low end. That's what happens. There's so much energy required to serve up low frequencies out of speakers. And also, they are the slowest moving guys in the mix, right? So other things are just going to slam right into them, and they're not going to go anywhere when they run into them. So simply remove them, attenuate them, right? Slim them down a little bit, move the other things around them. If you're listening to this after applying a bunch of this feedback and you feel as though everything's feeling pretty good and then there's something that's just lacking, it's not always a matter of turning that thing up. Sometimes when you turn it up, it even kind of gets worse. And when you encounter those moments, what you're hearing is something else needs to change. Something else is obfuscating that signal. And that really, in a nutshell, is what mixing really is. Like, it's going through and removing things in all these different places to make room for other things. So carve away where you can rather than add. And right now, I feel like we've probably added in a few spots, and that's where the muddiness, the extra fullness comes in, right? All those mid-low frequencies in play, when there's a bunch of them, it's almost impossible not to be muddy. So you also kind of have to do a little bit of frequency mixing here, selecting, right? You kind of have to prioritize which voices are the most important. Because down low, you might have one or two many instruments at play at once. And maybe you just take those out in that spot. Or maybe you just bring the volume way down for those 2 or 3 characters for that one little moment, right? Just pay attention to what you're actually hearing. Just be brutally honest with yourself as you keep going. And you'll figure this out. This is good stuff. It's really good stuff. Oh, good. I'm glad this is all insanely helpful. You are welcome. I hope you keep bringing more by. Bosnia Live says, really agree on making the vocals the main priority. Vicky says, it's super late here. Maybe I'll submit next time. Vicky, which one are you where are you? Oh, you're right here? I bet we can skip down here and listen to you really quick. Right? We're right here. We got Bosnia. Zelo and Viki. You guys good? Listen to Viki really quick. I know we don't normally do skips, Viki, but hey, let's do this. All right. All right, cool. Everyone needs their beauty rest, right? Viki, we're going to listen to you really quick, and then we're going to skip back up to these guys. Thank you guys for making that happen. Restu, A Blessing, Draft Remaster number 1. I think they're good, Viki. Don't you worry, okay? We're all good here. Let's roll. When you're ready, Google. Thank you.
Terasa sungguh sepi pagi ini saat terjaga dalam tidurku, tiada suara pagi. Dinginnya kota ini melayang-layangku. Terkadang ku terbawa lautanku, terbayang gadis kecil di sana memanggil namaku. Beri dadaku begini, ingin lekas jumpa. Sentuh aku dengan jari lembutmu, biar terasa dekat dan menemaniku. Bersenda gurau lagi, sentuh aku dengan jari kabarlah diriku, ku rindu belayanmu. Papa sangat rindu padamu. Doa dan puji syukur ku panjatkan kau kan dapat mengerti.
Yeah, that's great. Vicky, lovely strings and keys there in the intro. Throughout, really, the whole thing is lovely, but the intro really felt so great. All the comments of Disney stepping into the chat. Really set the mood, set the stage. Feel like you've had a pretty darn good level up. Very, very moving stuff. Low end of the strings feels a tad bloated. Could be a matter of EQing the reverb tighter in those lower frequencies, or it could just be a matter of using a low and shelf to tighten that up a bit. But it's a little thick, it's a little much. You might also just want to go in and scoop just a little out around like 350 out of a few different elements that have a decent amount of mid to low presence. Probably none of them actually need all of what they have there. That little frequency range there, I usually refer to, we've got like these little soupy spots, but that's downright stewy down there. Like you can get into some muddiness issues in there. So I would do those two things. And then also some finishing saturation on the vocals will help it stay atop the mix throughout. There are some swelling moments and crescendos in the instrumental mix where we hear the vocal masking a bit. So if you put just a little bit of saturation on there, it should help. It should get a little bit more harmonic information and help it kind of ride those waves. Lastly, and I saw Roku-sai making mention of the horns, but just in general, you can use a little bit of top-end control on various instruments throughout the performance, just to kind of tap down some highs when they're peaking and the vocals are also peaking. So there's just like a little call and response here. Sometimes you can use a sidechain in an EQ that allows you to have some sort of responsiveness or multiband compression, right? Anyway, you can use the vocal as a signal for that reduction to take place. And thereby it's reacting only when the vocal is present. So you could try something like that too. These are really small, nuanced changes here. So don't go overboard with them. Nick Flanagan, welcome in. And no, you are not way out of your league. You're just in time and in the right spot. Rabagasta, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Let's see who's next. Bosny, it's you. That was lovely, Vicky. Keep bringing it. It's really good stuff. Go get good rest. All right, Bosny is here with Waiting for the Right Time, V4. All right, let's do this.
Waiting for the right time. Does that tell that you're mine? Waiting for the right time. Does that tell that you're mine? Waiting for the right time. Waiting for the right time. Waiting for the right time. Does that tell that you're mine? Remember our weekend? I asked you what you needed. Waiting for the right time. 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 Just to tell that you're mine. Remember our weekend. I asked you what you needed. Waiting for the right time. Just to tell that you're mine. Remember our weekend. I asked you what you needed.
Yeah, I see a couple of mentions from Syndremic and Xylo in the chat about the low end, just like the constant presence of it. It takes away the impact. So use that more sparingly. I love the swirly keys. I love the vocal processing. I like this whole solid vibe. I do think the kick is just a little bit forward. It's just a little bit hot, and it can have a little less sub-frequency in it. These change-ups are super deadly. I'm kind of on the fence with the amount of compression that's being used in that section. I like the intricate detail. I'm not sure that it needs to be as close as it is. Like, we could probably back off a luff or two in that, and it might feel just a little bit better. It might be just slightly out of pocket there. Nice use of the sustained pad drone. Really good use of the different sonic elements in your palette. You've done a really good job with that. There were a couple of things that I felt like stopped just a little bit short, like release-wise, like ADSR envelope-wise. It's really solid, though. It's really good. Zyla's saying, irony is that my song also has this problem, but it's because I forgot to do it. Oh, man. Oh, Flyboy McGee says, why are orphans so bad at dodgeball? Because nobody misses them. Bosny, you are welcome. Thanks for bringing it by. This is solid. This is solid. Xylo. It is you. Silver Lining. Is this actually Zelo? You ever thinking about taming the lows a bit more? Yeah, do it and see what you think. No other way to find out for sure. As in xylophone. Okay, cool. So Xylo's saying, yeah, my song was made in only 8 hours for a challenge, so I forgot to do it when I rendered it and submitted it. That's all good. Let's listen to it. This one's called Silver Lining.
imbalances are what make up the greater balance that we see as the universe.
All right, this is good. I think it's great energy, but the LUFs are too high. And just before I forget, I'm going to bring the volume on the stream back up and my headphones back up so I don't forget, so I don't tell the next person their stuff is too quiet. Somewhere in there. All right, cool. So bring the LUFs down. Loudness is a bit too much. Low end can be wrangled a bit. This feels way better. Several dB down, so back off limiting. Guess that was all just kind of stream of consciousness there. 232, volume control over elements during the builds. Be more strategic. Less is more. There are a couple of builds here that are just loaded and busy, and it feels like all of the elements are in it and they're all at the same volume that they always have been in the track. So a couple of things here. One, use more volume automation. Volume automation is your friend. It's going to be the thing that can help you get out of a whole bunch of these little wiggly mix things very quickly, because if you have stuff at a really low volume, you don't really have to go back in and do a bunch of nuanced mixing to it, right? You've already brought it down to this point where it's barely there. And as long as it's not affecting other things in the mix at that point, you're good, right? So use that to your advantage. 251, nice little grimy moment here. 258, flute fill up a touch. I felt like that just needed to stand up a bit more upright. 306, a little more active modulation on this bass to grab the ears a bit more during delivery. I just feel like we can be opening a filter, we can be changing a wavetable position. We could do something to make this feel like we've got movement here instead of just bump, 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 right? We just get a little bit of movement there. Life force. 235, I like this moment. Nice juggling of sound design elements here. Still pretty thick in the mid-lows, though. Clean that up for greater clarity during busy articulation and high traffic moments. But good juggling. What are you cooking up your sounds in? Are you a serum guy? Everything in the build had automation, especially the sub. That's exactly what I forgot to turn on before rendering. Oh, right. There you go. Use massive and serum. Excellent. Good work. Good work. It all sounds very nice together. Nick Flanagan saying very much. So woke me up on this one. Very nice. Good vibes. Excellent. Excellent. All right. We've already heard this one from Viki, so it's on to Nick Flanagan now. There we go. I think I got that spelling right. Nick Flanagan says, this song is super cool to me personally because after years of us talking about it, I finally got my favorite local acoustic guitar or acoustic singer on a song with me. That's fantastic. Don't you love it when the thing actually happens after all the talking? All right. This one is Nick Flanagan, Miracle, featuring Andy Lyle Hall. Let's roll. Nick, I spelled it right for you because I hate misspelling and mispronouncing names. Let's roll.
I could use a miracle. Round and round the merry-go. I feel it in my bones, a fire in my soul. It's out of control. I could use a miracle. Round and round, oh here we go. Beat it in my chest, show me what is next, and tell me where to go. I could use a miracle.
Maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe I'm not meant for success. No matter how I strive, I guess I'm susceptible for much less than what I aspire to be. It's tiring. I'm under so much stress. I must confess. I said I'd not quit. I'm making a liar of me. I just want to inspire thee. People around me to be all they can be, but what kind of example am I? I'm nothing and my time's expiring. Wrestling with fate and it's swipe my feet. I'm on the way down so violently. The canvas I paint on so vibrantly is behind me now with the weight of the world on the side of me. Not trying to admit I lost sight, you see. Just being honest with myself as I write to the beat. And I can feel my defeat and I'm wearing it like a hat. If I'm certain on one thing, it's I assure you that
I could use a miracle. Round and round the merry-go. I feel it in my bones, a fire in my soul. It's out of control. I could use a miracle. Round and round, oh here we go. Beat it in my chest, show me what is next, and tell me where to go. I could use
but
a
when
miracle.
I pick up the mic again, that ignites the fight within. I forget just what silence is. It kills my feelings of lifelessness. That rebuilds my confidence. Complacency has its own consequence. To live or to die, I was on the fence, but now I'm no longer on defense. No offense if you're going through this, but only you can pull you from the pits. A revelation is on the mist. It's hazy, but I see it through the mist. To save me from this villainous hell, the hero I need is revealing itself as my own reflection, coming from the depths with a pen and a mic and nothing
Music
else.
is my miracle. Music is my miracle. I feel it in my bones, a fire in my soul. It's out of control. Music is my miracle. Music is my miracle. Beating in my chest, I know what is next, and I know where to go. Music is my miracle.
Yeah, so Nick, the reason why I ask if the sound of clipping is what you're going for or not is because it sounds to me like it was unintentional, and I think it's actually holding your music back here. Um, Now, I don't know that you need to change loyalty. I mean, if you've been working with the same person for a long time, you could continue to do so. But I do think that transparency and honesty is needed, right? So if you're getting this kind of distorted signal back from something like your bass, and that's not what you're actually wanting, let them know and see if they can fix that. It could be like a taste thing, but to me, it sounds kind of just improper. Um, to me, on this one, the volume mix in general just feels a little wonky. The main vocal feels just a little bit withheld. The bass is feeling kind of overly slammed. And there's extra low end in it that I think if you were to carve that out, all of a sudden we're going to reclaim a bunch of energy and it's going to kind of lighten this thing up a little bit. Um, it's I feel like this track is kind of stuck between two places. It's stuck between kind of this brooding and this emotional outpouring. And I feel like they're different things. And maybe when we get the distortion on the bass cleaned up and we smooth that out a little bit, it won't feel as brooding anymore. But that's kind of where we are right now, or at least that's kind of what I'm getting out of it. I'd bring the low end cutoff up to around 50 hertz on this 12 dB per octave curve. I'd bring the bass track down a few, and I'd also bring a shelf to the lowest frequencies there. A little less sub in the kick as well. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing for you on this one. So it says, yeah, it just sounds pushed really hard. Yeah, there are times where some people get to this point where they're not quite sure what else to do with a mix, so they start to turn it up. And I think that's where we are with this one. A fair official. This is you. I like this art. This is good stuff. Nick, bring more. Bring more stuff by. I'd like to hear more of you. This one is called Shifting Sentience. It's great art. It's fantastic. Jarda Engineer saying, I've been a victim of that before. Yeah, it happens to all of us. All right. Affair, This one is super, super nice. There's some loudness stuff here, but if you bring that down, this is super, super nice. It's just about ready for release. I'd say bring the ambience down just a touch and watch the highs and the reverb. And just in general, the highs feel pushed a bit much in this, but honestly, it may just be a byproduct of how big the LUFS are. I'm guessing that, like, I said neg 8 here, but it could be even more. It feels really loud for an ambient track. So I would really, really encourage you to bring that down. Streaming sites are already going to start bringing it down at like neg 16, right? And this is pretty loud. This is pretty loud. So it's going to end up feeling muted. It's going to feel like someone turned down the volume on it, right? But if you do this yourself the right way in the mix, then it's going to feel better. So do that. Do that. Allow us to fall into this. There is no huge dynamic range in this because of the loudness. So as soon as you start to back off of that, that's space that we can now fall into. Like, all that's doing is that the peaks are going to stay at the same spot, but it's going to start dropping the lowest peaks down, right? Now that's space where we can literally just like fall into. And that's exactly what you want for one of these kind of ambient tracks. And that way, when you do bring in something and you want it to be heard, it's felt, like its position is felt, its arrival, its departure, all of it is felt, right? Okay, so I wrote here that this is probably sitting around neg 8 LUFS and can be felt much better around neg 14 or so. You can still have a few big peaks, but the sustained loudness runs against the calming, soothing nature of the music itself, and the integrity of the sound has been pushed to the point of feeling kind of charged, or almost kind of brittle, or just we're nearing pain points on a couple of things, and you never really want that with an ambient track. So the palette of sounds that you're working with and your arrangement, your composition is super great. So definitely don't go in there and start moving anything around. This is really just the loudness on this one. Let's see what people are saying over here. Nick Flanagan saying, I used a different mixing engineer for the first time in, like I said, about a decade. And to be honest, the song isn't as good to me, but just as a mix, people have bragged or had very little constructive criticism for that mix. So I think I'll shift to that engineer from here on out. I'd love to let you hear it and to see if you think it's on a much more professional sounding level. I guess I'll bring it to you next stream to see what you think in contrast is. Yeah, that'd be great. You are welcome, Nick. Off-air official saying, yeah, it's around neg 8 when I got to see the loudness meter. Okay, yeah, so that's what I'm feeling here. It felt like there were a couple of peaks in there. Like, that's probably the sustained integrated loudness in this section over here. That's my guess, because there were a couple of peaks that felt a little bit louder than that. So I'd bring that down. STP saying, nice work, off-air. The same off-air from the Bishu battles, right? And he says, oh yeah. Got my Bishu face right here. Z4. Caballo. It is you. Excellent. Off-air, that was super dope. I would love to hear more from you. Keep bringing them by. We do this every single Friday. Caballo, we got a work in progress here. Shall we roll?
I wonder if I will ever know. I wonder if I will ever know.
Yo, Caballo, this is pretty dope. I kind of want some more environmental sounds there. I like the background noises. I think they're fantastic. And I like this like jangly reverb that you've got on this snare. I like all of this stuff. There's a lot of texture in here and it's just dirty and noisy. It's dope. It'd be cool though if the background noises were just a little bit more varied. Like if we had one contiguous audio file in there, just like a field recording of like someone moving around in a kitchen, maybe not like banging pots and pans, like actually cooking things, but just like moving around, grabbing something, setting something down, just like the presence of someone like doing something like that might be super, super dope in this thing. And I think it would add just the right amount of variety and interest. Just make sure you don't leave in the low frequency background noise too much in something like that. It's really good. The sax coming in here hot at the end, that can come down just a little bit. It's super sexy though. Yeah, groovy as all out. I agree, Liv. Yeah, this a beat. I love me some good trip hop too. Jaden Jeer. Wait, Jaden Junior, the engineer. Man, you know, getting old, eyes changing, that thing sucks. All right, Rabagast, it is you. Whew, I'm glad you made it, Caballo. It's dope. It's good stuff, man. Rabagast. This random picture of the snow here, it's great. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. Just give me a second. Wait, no. Zerteknuser. How close am I? Yo, Zeep, welcome in. He was out camping this winter. 35mm photo. Yeah, I was going to say, this looks like it has some grit to it. Nice. Like halfway there. Okay. I'm not going to try. I'm halfway. If I try again, I will get further away. I will not get closer. All right, here we go.
Revelations they shove and can't still dub me. Drop some jewels, 21st century tools. You and your crew got more shit to prove. It's win or lose, a reflection of you. And if God's on my side, is a reflection of two. And if you could choose between me and you, what would you do?
Oh, man.
Jeg husker drømmen min, men glemmer den igjen i dusjen. Finner en rød tråd, men legger den igjen på bussen. Trekker pusten, klar, ferdig, kjapp. Pust, slapp av, start der du slapp. Vi vil ha det vi ikke kan få. Tror dere feller, eller til syvende og sist er det åtte som gjelder. Det er nok av folk som hopper på når det fortsatt står stille. Håper livet kommer snart og blir på vorspillet. Holder meg i skinn og griper tak i dagen min. Mens sklir og mister taket på både tak og skinn. Er hypp på leve opp til kravene mine. Med faren mine for mamma vil ha barn som mine for kall. Og jeg blir gal. Er jeg gal? Er jeg gal? Er jeg gal hvis jeg glemmer nesten igjen på bussen når de gode handlingene finner sleper hjem av tusen? Hvis du hater meg, så elsk meg. For hvis du elsker de som hater, er det best jeg sier hat meg. Og elsk meg. Hvis du hater meg, så elsk meg. For hvis du elsker de som hater, er det best jeg sier hat meg. Og elsk meg.
All right, hear me out. I have an artistic question for you. What if in the last like 15 seconds or so of this song, the backing vocal actually overtakes the main vocal? If we listen here.
Så elsk meg, for hvis du elsker de som hater, er det flest jeg sier hat meg. Og elsk meg.
Yeah, I kind of want the backing vocals up a bit there at the end. This is a really, really great track, dude. Super dope vibe. And these reverb choices too. All right, watch out for resonance, highs, and reflectivity that competes with our ability to focus on the vocals. The synth one that sounds kind of like a theremin, I think it can come down like several dB. I'd start with like 5 dB and see how that sits with you. It might be more like 7 or 8. But I think that its very nature allows it to cut through the mix so easily that it can just be at a lower presence is all. Man, the vocals are just so on point. Just fire. Just so good. Just so good. 228, this moment right here, it's downright like Eminem kind of cadence, but I feel like it has a better forward momentum to it. It's nice. It's got a really good vibe. And I really do like the work that you're doing with the backing vocal, but I do think the backing vocal, yeah, the English should come up, I think, at the end. I think. It's a timbre, and it's like a timbre satisfaction kind of thing. And it also kind of pushes against expectations there, right? No one's really expecting that at the end. Okay, so the resonance that I'm talking about. This. The guy that's gone, ooh, getting way up there, that can come down. Because as soon as it starts to get up there, it cuts through the mix very easily. This is actually a good opportunity to talk about compression, right? This might be a good sound to use a little bit of compression on. Now, this is not a sound that you would adjust the gain knob on, and you would not use auto gain. You might use auto release on it, but not auto gain. But you might want to shave off like 5-6 dB worth of volume off of the peaks of this thing and see how it sits with you, right? Make sure that your threshold and your ratio balance are such that you're not going over 4:1 to get a 5 dB reduction. And then see how that sits with you. Don't add any gain back. It's only going to shave off just the loudest part of your peaks. I think it probably sit a little bit better. Yeah, that's what I got for you. Boom. You could try soothe, but honestly, what that's going to do is it's going to reduce the harmonic content in there. Like it's going to take down some resonance, right? Which is going to make it harder for it to stand out, which is going to make you feel like now it's missing something. Right? So instead of affecting the timbre and the actual content of the sound, I'd leave the sound as it is because I think it's pretty cool. And then bring it down. You can try it both ways and A/B compare them and see which one you personally like better. You know, that's the test that it has to pass pass after all, right? Rokusai says, OhmLab, is there time for a short one of mine still? I had to wait until my buddy uploaded the track since it needed to be recorded. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Yes, yes, you can. And hey, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go hit the bathroom really quick. I'm going to turn up this volume and hit play on this music for you guys. And I'll be right back.
Talking pain, I got first you can't afford. Build
my pain off of stars, I ain't come from no throne. I was grinding with no help, I had to pay my own song. I've been talking to the mic, we just got off the phone. They say time heal wounds, but I'm still bleeding slow. Try to bear all my pain, but it still seem to grow. Ride with my past in the passenger seat. Hoping I don't crash, chasing my inner peace. Fake love in my texts, I just leave it unread. Cause I don't see the loyalty die, these niggas really fed. Got scars that I cover up with a smile on my face. All I know is to keep moving, I've been speeding on my path. Came from nothing now, talk to the stars. Pain in my music, you can hear it through my bars. Told my dog we gon' be rich, just play your part. Still riding with that eye like Tony Stark. My baby crying, I wipe her tears with these honeys. Told my past, you can't break me, watch me run these. Every scar turn a boy to a man out of 90. Mixing up my pain with the hustle, I'm getting funny. I done made it through the storm with no coat, J Pride. Had to thug it in the cold with my soul on ice. See my dog go ghost, he ain't die, he just changed. Said he ride with me forever, but he don't switch it out the lane. I was posted on the block with my dream in my sock. Now I'm posted up the chart, still watching out for ops. They don't see what I seen, they just seen what I got. All this pain in my chest, it don't heal with no watch. I put my faith inside the hustle, there's no luck, I took a gown. Had my back against the wall, now I'm breaking through a pound. Cut ties with some bloods, cause the loyalty ran thin. Now I treat them like a stranger, I can't let them back in. I was trying to keep the peace, but they was trying to draw up. Keep that stick on my side like I'm sweeping the floor. I ain't rapping for no deal, I'm just being on these beats. You hear the drum in my voice every time that I speak. Y'all gon' have to excuse me. My allergies been fucking with me. But I had to do this one. Came from nothing now, talk to the stars. Pain in my music, you can hear it through my bars. Told my dog we gon' be rich, just play your part. Still riding with that eye like Tony Stark. My baby crying, I wipe her tears with these honeys. Told my past, you can't break me, watch me run these. Every scar turn a boy to a man out of 90. Mixing up my pain with the hustle, I'm getting funny.
I've been talking without volume that whole time? I didn't look over at the chat that entire time. I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, I'm going to run through that again really quick. Hi, Blackberry. When did you get here? I haven't looked at the chat for a while. STP, yeah, we do. We need some sound alerts. We need to bring back our triggers. We really do. Oh my God, that's so fucking hilarious. That's so great. This is Velvet Gochi says, from the lip reading, I can see this is about a great sandwich he had yesterday. Okay, let's run through that again. I love this track. This track is really, really great. Everything about it. There's a couple of things that you can fix in here to make it even better, but I absolutely love this track. Okay, love the little pulse intro. Great choice, great intro. Wonderful vocal presence. Love that we're getting that much surface texture right in our face right off the bat. We can really feel all of it. Here's the big ones. We got two of them. A couple of big ones. Watch the distortion on the sub. Isolate and target only the frequencies above 120 and don't distort the lowest sub frequencies. And I think you're going to like what you hear. There will be an absolute delineation between intentional and unintentional clipping in the track. There will be greater clarity. Your kick will feel better. All of these things will happen. All of the dreams will come true. I really dig this mix. Low end cutoff set up to 45 hertz, 12 dB per octave curve. This is going to take just a little bit of frequency off of the lowest bit of your sound, and it's just going to take a little bit of the plosive nature out of play. And I think it's going to bring a little bit more clarity to the entire mix. You might need to bring the low end down. Oddly enough, when you take away lowest frequencies like that, it can feel like the bass is getting louder. At 315, some backing vocal separation. I'd move it to the side just a bit more from the main vocal. Right now, it feels like it can be a bit more adjacent to the main vocal. And then lastly, watch resonance in the backing vocal reverb channel, hitting a pain point for some people there right now, around 2K, maybe around 5K as well. You could use something like Soothe, a responsive EQ. You could use multiband compression. You could also just go old school and sweep it for resonance and bring down the peak where you find it. Any of those is going to work. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. So sorry about the no mic moment there. Man, that sucks. Blackberry saying, I did it to the Prime Minister of Canada when he was giving a lecture, unmuted the wrong vocal on a panel discussion. I would like to blame the stage tech for handing out the wrong wireless about 10 minutes prior, which he did, but I knew it and didn't make a note on the board and got stymied. He handled it very well. Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, it does happen to all of us, but it's freaking hilarious when it does. Yeah, dude, this was great. I want to hear more from you. This is a really, really well-made track. I was also saying in the first time through with the feedback that this track is just, it's a series of really good decisions on display. I really dig it. I dig it. All right, Z, it is you. Worked on the mix and added some more ear candy. This one is called Autodom, big bass. Yeah, I love it too, Roku. Roku Sai is saying, love all the laser blasting. Really cool. Yeah, this is great. It's a little too thick down low. Like, I think there are points where the bass is a little overbearing and the sub is overbearing, and we can back off that. Other than that, it's really great. At 302, I felt like one of the elements, and just pick one, can have some sort of more audible, significant change over time during the build, just for interest's sake. Yeah, this is it. It's just so tight. I love all the changes. I love all the ear candy. Just watch the subs, bring them down a bit, and make sure that, especially around the beginning of the sections, like right here, you can see we're just clipping right here. Like we've brick walled this moment. In the other moments, you can see that there's a little up and down here. But this right here was a big blast, and it was a deviation from the loudness in the previous section. So make sure that your loudness balancing is good from section to section. And that's it. Yeah, I love the bass too. So good. Excellent. Time to go get it mastered, right? Yeah, so good. Rokusai is here with something awesome. Oh, Blackberry, really quick. Saying, Zeep, just some observations regarding structure. You probably could shorten everything before the vocal entrance by half its duration. There's almost no development or variation. The track gets so much stronger once you get to the point where you're having some sort of dramatic variation every 2 repeats of any given phrase in the middle section. The last third loses momentum as you seem to reiterate the opening couple of minutes after the bass line's initial entrance. This is true. This is true. It does mean that you get to hear more of that ear candy. Sometimes I think we elongate electronic music just for that very reason. Rokusai is saying all analog hardware, synths, DX7, Andromeda, ARP Odyssey, etc. Gotta wonder what the etc. is, right? Tracked on the Alesis 8-track and mixed on an Audient ASP for the gearheads out there. Track is as much live as possible since some of the older synths went out of tune because of room temp. All right, this is Rokusai and James Frink, Desert Winds. Yeah, I hear you, Blackberry. I hear you. The consolidation. Yo, can I just say that those like highs are all so super sparkly and just delicious? Oh man, that was lovely. This is a time machine. This is not a song. This is a time machine. I feel like the pulsing bass in the background can come up just a little bit. I feel like it's sitting just where it's supposed to and kind of comes and goes. I love all these different lines, by the way. All these different riffs. It's great. Man, great vibe. Seriously. Ah. Blackberry is always kicking down the knowledge. Reading this comment about the DI box. It's a form of noise filtering rejection circuit, mostly to filter out high frequency radio noise. I see. Super solid, hard as heck to mix analog and trying to make it sound very current, right? Yeah. Yeah. This right here, though, this felt all sorts of right. Man. Some good stuff in there. Rokusai. This is not what I was expecting when you asked if you could drop a track. I was not expecting this super awesome retro funkiness. Roku saying, yeah, indeed. Plus, if you have only an 8-track and have to fold down every time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, right. Oh, man. All right. Kitty cats, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab this link again and drop it in here. For those of you looking for the VODs, they are now over on YouTube. We're moving them away from Twitch because Uncle Jeff Bezos doesn't want to pay for video hosting anymore. So you can watch several years of VODs here. You sit back and just watch thousands of hours. Like, you really need that. But you could do that. You don't really need to do that, but you could. Go down the rabbit hole, back in time. Watch us all get younger. All right. Now I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to kick the box over here and see who's streaming because it is about that time. It was lovely hearing all of you. We will do it again next week after the weekend. I'm going to see who's live here. We can go visit. We have so much stuff in our production queue right now. I'm not sure exactly what all we are going to work on next week, but we will be working on probably a lot of stuff. All right, let's see. Oh, we got a bunch of folks here. Bunch of folks. You know, it's been a minute. Let's go say hi to Decipher. Get a little turntable hello. Like I was saying, I appreciate you guys. When we get over here, let's let Decipher know we really appreciate his turntablist skills because he's one of the better ones around here. I'll see you guys after the weekend. Hey, you know what? It's Mother's Day in a lot of places, so make sure you show some love. All right, kitty cats. I'll see you on the other flip.